a Dazzle with a Grave or an Abaddon that could TP in if they man up on him, sure, I think that makes some sense. But here, what happens when, you know, this tree who goes boots first, and he already has, rotates towards mid and tries to go for the Ancient Apparition? A Leech Seed alone could be enough to set up a kill with a Dragonite stun and a Breathe Fire to follow up.
At the same time, it does help with relocate ganks and damage output for duel, but they kind of already have Skywrath for the ladder, and they still don't really have a good Wisp partner. I guess technically LC can, but it'll be debatable how fast she can farm her Blink up against the tri-lane, and Weaver is just not a very good Wisp partner either. It's like mediocre at best. At the same time, I didn't really think that Wisp and Necrophos was a good lane either.
Well, it's one we haven't seen too much, but when you really think about it on paper, it makes sense. You get the double heal from the Death Pulse, and the Magic Wand is proved to be very very effective in that lane. But yeah, I mean, part of the thing with Weaver Wisp is he doesn't benefit from movement speed. He's got Chikuchi for that, and
or attack speed, really.
Yeah, or attack speed. I don't know. It seems odd. That's why I was thinking maybe the Dendi Skywrath, and with a Wisp pairing there, you can feed him some extra mana and you can spam a bit more. Maybe that makes some sense. But I'm hoping Na'Vi have a trick up their sleeve, because just on paper, I like this Virtus.pro draft a lot better.
I do too. I don't think it really has that many deficiencies. Looking at the odds, we have 71-29 in favor of Na'Vi. What is up with these odds today? They're just all wonky. I would say, I mean, firstly, VP already beat Na'Vi once, and secondly, I think this game should be very, very close, like 60-40.
All right, we're using the LD spectator hotkeys here, so bear with me with the graphs, folks. What the hell is his buyback key? LD, please. All right, well, buyback timers, we don't have to worry about it for now, but man, whatever. Not going to complain too much here. Anyway, let's look at some of the initial warding. Dire side, they'll get an Observer ward down here in their off lane, right inside the tree line, to make the life of Sadoy a bit easier. He'll be on the Bat Rider. In the mid, it will be G playing on the Dragonite, and will be a safe lane try. Jotum on the tree, Yol on the Witch Doctor, and that puts BZZ on the position 1 Razor.
So in a couple of these games, we haven't really seen Havos able to shine on those heroes. I wouldn't really say he's been playing poorly. It's more so that they don't draft that well for him. Like in the last game, they picked up Slark in the very first phase, and he just didn't seem to be able to find any farm, and the supports didn't really protect him that well. And in this game too, Slark, Weaver, what does he really offer here? If he gets stunned out by DK, he can easily die, and he has some mobility versus Razor Static Link, but all in all, he doesn't really seem to fit into this lineup, and the Wisp partner, as we've already talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Virtus.pro have enough lockdown to deal with this Weaver. It's not one of those games where there's absolutely no stun, no easy way for the Weaver to run around and go crazy. He'll have his work cut out for him for sure. So out of the gate in mid, Dendi is doing pretty well in last hits. Dragonite 2-on-1 versus the 5-6 Ancient Apparition, getting that first point in Chilling Touch. Of course, makes last hitting easier when you have it up, and now putting a point in Cold Feet. I'm still very curious to see what they have in store with, will Dendi move around? Is it just all about the fast 6? What exactly is the strategy with the AA solo mid? Looks like he will be prioritizing Cold Feet with his skill build here.
Spam the Ice Vortex, maybe. He's actually out of region right now. Not sure what is he.
He's got a bottle coming out on the... No?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been able to farm that much.
Okay, yeah. He hasn't gotten the bottle yet, so he just has to buy a salve. Yeah, a little rough out of the gate. Well, Radiant side, of course we have Na'Vi. Didn't go through the roster yet, but Havost is safe lane. FNG's on the Skywrath. We've talked about the Dendi Ancient Apparition quite a bit, but the off lane, it is a dual lane. Vanscore.
See a hasted Skywrath in mid, making his way there.
Yeah, here's the rotation. Will they be able to find the kill on G? There's a concussive. This should be a Cold Feet proc, and very well could be your first blood. The Chilling Touch from Frostfingers doing a lot of damage. G rather tanky. Dusky the Husky coming in to deliver the bottle. He's going to be bottle sipping it up, and G just a little bit too tanky. Puts it back on Dusky, and that'll take it home for a refill.
That Living Armor definitely saved him there too.
Yep, and that 1 point in Dragon Blood certainly helping out. Courier coming in at an ideal time for him to sip up the bottle to regenerate. But yeah, looks like the Wisp will be just partnered with the LC. That's the way they're playing it. Funnick getting okay farm in the off lane. Good, not great.
Yeah, I don't really think they can kill Funnick in this lane though. He's already hit level 3, he has his boost magic stick, your stout shield, your basic core set for surviving in the off lane, and even so he's able to perhaps leech an experience if if Jotum goes for a couple of pulls here, and Razor already being super low. I guess he does have a salve.
Yeah, Yol could actually heal him up a little bit with the Voodoo Restoration, but not feeling it, I guess.
And Dendy's CS in mid is extraordinary.
Yeah, 13 denies on the Ancient Apparition, so really giving G a run for his money. And we've talked about this a bit in the past, that G is kind of this core player for Virtus.pro, almost similar to the S4 on Old Alliance, where it seems there's a correlation when the mid player gets shut down, the team performs a little bit, just a little bit less, as he's not only the shot caller, but the one that tends to snowball and set the tempo for the game. So perhaps the heavy denies from Dendy will be enough to throw Virtus.pro off their game. Bat Rider not getting much out of the off lane, halfway through level 4, brown boots, and hasn't committed to Tranquils or a bottle yet, I don't think. And 800 gold towards presumably some sort of regen item before the grind for the Blink Dagger begins.
And the 2 supports on VP, I mean, they haven't really been able to zone the LC out, even though Tree is generally pretty good at that with a Wisp backing him up. Not really an option open to him. And curious to see how they're going to transition Dendy.
Yeah, here we go, mid lane. G's in some trouble, and more than enough damage to bring him down. The first blood gets drawn as FNG gets credit, and you can hear the crowd going crazy. It's another set of the home court heroes facing off against each other, but Na'Vi seem to have the crowd's favor, Merlini.
So much magic amplification too. Ancient Steel plus Ice Vortex is no joke. At the same time, they don't really have that much to synergize it with, aside from AAL and Mystic Flare. Nothing really too much to offer from LC and Weaver in that regard. Yeah, still enough to get a rotation on the Dragonite, and the hero, of course, known for his armor and tankiness, but doesn't have a hell of a lot against magic damage. So, they're going to go right back at it as G comes back to lane. This time, Frostfingers has the ultimate. The snowball connects, and Dendy gets credit for that kill. And now it'll be a quick 2-0 as G comes back to the lane and just gets completely shut down. Too easy for him. I'm surprised that Ward, how long is that Ward up for BP in the mid lane? They just need eyes on the other side of the hill. And G having this bad of a start, it's really going to hinder their tower pushing capabilities if they ever want to group up. And at this point, it kind of looks like they're going to have to rely on a Bat Rider or Blink Dagger to get back in this game. Not like the gold lead is out of control, but it's still very heavily in favor of Na'Vi. It's getting close to out of control. 2,500 in 5.5 minutes of gameplay. Damn significant. Weaver, #1 on CS. Razor nipping at his heels, but they made an obvious victory for the Ancient Apparition, and the disparity in offlaners is growing. Bat Rider is finding some more farm, and as he's moved into the jungle, it looks like Sadoy may try to go for a straight Blink Dagger here off his brown boots. Down bottom, Jotum gets initiated on, takes the Ancient Seal, trying to TP home, but it's a slow one, just barely makes it out. As Savos coming to join the party, will get there a bit too late, and the tree survives. I think things get really scary for VP once Skywrath hits 6, and since he's been involved in 2 kills, he's probably well on his way to it, and that's just almost level 4. Yeah, a lot of bursts to deal with, and DK's just struggling. They don't really have that much physical damage. I guess a little bit from LC and Weaver. But speak of the devil again. G gets jumped on, and same story, different chapter. More than enough damage to bring him down. Just nothing to deal with all this magical damage. Where's the Witch Doctor? Witch Doctor's supposed to be there to quell this kind of aggression. He has a TP scroll as well, but he just dies so fast. I don't know that if Yol TPing in would really have made that much of a difference. Cask his ownage versus Wisp and company, but still, even just the channel time, that DK fell pretty damn quick, man. He did. They really need eyes on there. Yeah, like 3 minutes ago. So Na'Vi getting a little out of control. So far, this Dendy Ancient Apparition mid is working very well. If you're Virtus.pro, what do you do here, Merlini? How do you switch it up to regain momentum? Maybe we'll hold that thought as up top. BZZ gets hit by a snowball. I don't think he's at risk of shatter. It's going to be a close one. He may actually go down here, and he will. It's Dendy that gets credit for this one. Now they'll come in onto Yol. More than enough damage to bring him down. He gets hit by the silence, has the restoration on, but it's a quick 5-0 for Na'Vi. And they are off to the races, hungry for vengeance from yesterday. Thought about TPing in, but it was just going to get duel to death. And this Skywrath and Wisp duo working wonders. Yeah. So, same question though. If you're Virtus.pro, what do you do here? How do you get this Dragonite back on point? He's just sitting on Boots, Bottle, Stout Shield right now. You can try and put Razor in mid. He's a little bit less susceptible to Skywrath ganks. But at the same time, he's not really that tanky either. He opted for Phase Boost instead of, let's say, Treads, and probably just group up, wait for a Bat Rider Blink, perhaps, if you want to go for that. Looks like we'll see a rotation towards the top lane. BZZ at the tower. His buddy Yol is on his way, but now they'll go straight in. Funna connects with the duel. The Ice Blast connects. They've got plenty of damage. We've got a winner. And
It's Funnick that comes out ahead. Now the rest of the fight breaks out as some TPs come in. There's the lasso from Sadoy onto FNG. He'll get left behind, and Virtus.pro get on the board for the first time in this game, but it comes at a heavy cost as they lose their position 1.
That's a pretty quick wing dagger coming out from Sadoy too.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you skip the regen. Usually you'll see Tranquils or a bottle, but straight blink dagger, good stuff. Getting VP on the board at least.
And that will definitely ease in them being able to kill the Wisp, but at the same time that's pending Funnick is out of position and unable to press the attack in time. So as of now, VP able to get some kills with that lasso. That's pretty much what they're going to have to rely on for quite some time. Dragon Knight not even able to come close to completing his dreads. Then with a Midas.
Yeah, this is really, I feel like risky, but we'll hold that thought as G uses the dragon form, goes in. Virtus.pro to follow up. Dendi taking a lot of damage, gets an ice blast off, may still go down, moves into the tree line, looking to TP out, but Razor comes in, gives him the whips, but they still find the shatter on the Dragon Knight, and that makes it a 1-for-1, mid for mid. It's not over yet. Na'Vi hungry for vengeance for their fallen comrade. Havos goes in onto Yol, FNG onto BZZ. Now Vanscore joining the party. Can they bring down Yol before he TPs out? They can. That makes it a 1-for-2, and now it's just BZZ left all alone. Havos is tethered up. He's on the race, and or on the hunt rather. He'll chase down BZZ, and living armor ain't gonna be enough to save you this time, Razor. And Na'Vi turn it into a 1-for-3. They lose their Dendi, but they get a lot out of it.
And he already had his Midas at that point too, so already spent most of his unreliable gold. And at this point, I mean, I would say it's pretty good for them trading DK for AA, although typically not in this particular instance. I think it's okay for them. Still, 9-2 the kill score, and they're just gonna keep accruing dual kills, keep going with the ice blast.
And look at the Bull Strike here. He's just manning up under this tower. He gets hit by the lasso from Sadoy, but now Funnick's coming in. The Treant Projector goes down to the balls of Wisp, and Sadoy just barely lives. Now Razor comes in. Funnick forced to TP home, and it looks like he'll be successful. Yes, he sure will. Avos looking to wrap around the tower and finish off what he started. Won't be able to get the kill, but as that's happening, at the bottom rune, again, Dendi finds another kill on G's Dragon Knight. Oh man, things getting disastrous for Virtus.pro. We're looking at that now. Razor finishes off the Wisp. So some chaos breaking out around the map, but it's still Na'Vi with a very obvious advantage and glancing at the grass. 7,500 gold, 5,000 experience. Nothing but good news for the Radiant side.
G doesn't seem to know how to play in damage control mode. Like at this point, you just tank up on HP. You finish your magic wand, stack, use Breathe Fire to get camps. Maybe later you can catch up through Ancient Stacks and level 2 Dragon Elder Form, but he died trying to get bottom rune. He died in the mid lane being down the hill with no vision uphill, and at this point he's 0-5-1 and has to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, it's just not where G's used to playing, but again, we'll hold that thought as Yol just gets dropped in the mid lane once more. The snowball connects. They've got plenty of damage. Now BZZ overcommits. Mystic Flare comes out. He'll use his wand charges, buys him some time, but Havos, the sneaky Weaver, chases him down. It's a 2-for-0 in the mid lane. 13-3. Na'Vi, they're here to win, Merlini.
This magic burst rather, from Na'Vi is just incredible coming out from Skywrath and AA. And on top of that, a lot of his long range too, and that's excluding like Wisp Balls and overwhelming odds.
Yeah. Most definitely. Tier 1 tower mid lane taking some decent damage as Virtus.pro smoked up, ready to take another team fight. They've got an Elder Dragon form, but G still just has nothing in the inventory. Belt of Strength, brown boots, bottle, and magic stick is everything he has to his name. And I think on the point you made about the bleeding, it's just not where he's used to playing. Usually he's the one that's balling out of control. TPs are coming his way, supports are helping him out, and most often he wins that mid lane. And when he's behind like this, it's just a rarity that he's not comfortable with.
The YOLO smoke gank.
And they won't find anyone as Na'Vi. They're smoked up themselves. They'll rendezvous near the Radiant Ancients here and rotate towards the top rune. Both teams with the same idea, and neither will bump into each other, at least not yet. Na'Vi doubling back, now heading towards the mid lane. They get vision on Virtus.pro, and they are hungry for a fight. Funnick goes right in onto Yol. Plenty of damage to bring him down. Witch Doctor won't even be able to get an ultimate off. The Dragon Knight just melts to the wrath of the snow. Now Sadoy uses the lasso onto Funnick, but to what avail? He's just going to get chopped down. The Dubs will chase him down. Living armor helps, but not enough. That's a 3-for-0 as the smoke from Na'Vi proved successful. Looks like the the LC will be able to survive as Funnick has his Blink Dagger, hops up to the Dire Secret Shop, and that'll be where it ends.
This mid lane has just been an absolute bloodbath. VP has to get some eyes in this mid lane. They're just
Oh my gosh,
getting
they're going in
destroyed.
again. On top of the tree, and they'll bring him down right away. Yol with a death ward under the tower does some solid damage. BZZ will find the kill on the Wisp. Now Funnick on the run. Static Link taking his damage, but Dendy's there. Hits him with the snowball, and they finish him off again. Dendy is just out of control on a dominating streak this game. A TP towards the tier 1 tower. Havost is ready to fight. He finds Sadoy, interrupts the Blink Dagger, doing what damage he can, but will be forced back as the Witch Doctor is nearby. And it looks like this fight will finally settle down. 18-4. Dare we even look at the gold graph now? Nearly 12,000 gold. We're getting close to that 1,000 gold per minute lead for Na'Vi.
They are balling out of control. Balling.
That's very appropriate with these snowballs flying left and right. And what's Dendy building into with that Midas? He has 3,000 gold. I reckon it just has to be a fast Axe.
Could be a Dagon.
Could be a Dagon.
Why not?
Yeah, you've got all this synergy with magic damage, the Ice Vortex and Ancient Seals we've talked about, so yeah, it could work out for him.
Let's see it, Dendy.
Yeah, let's see it.
Rapier.
Yeah, it's great on the Ancient Apparition. Brilliant, pure brilliance. He did hold on to that value point in the Chilling Touch. It was the first skill he leveled up and left it at level 1. And what did he grab? Oh, it's a Mystic Staff. So, right into Hex, is that what we're thinking here?
I suppose that's highly unusual, especially on a hero like Ancient Apparition. You'll almost always see the eggs immediately after.
Yeah.
Could also be a Shivas technically, although Shivas doesn't really offer them that much. So I would
I think it has
say Hex.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, why would you rush a Shiva's of all
Value
items?
25 intelligence. Who needs 4 robes when you can buy 1 Mystic Staff?
That's true. I mean, who needs no tallies when you've got Mystic Staff? Shit. But yeah, I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about how good Ice Blast is, but we'll see a gank. They'll come in on the Dendy. There's the lasso. Ancient Apparition's there to follow up. Throws out the Mystic Flare. They'll finally end the dominating streak. FNG in some trouble also. Vanscore joining the party. Havost coming in. There's the duel onto Yol. Living Armor buying him some time. The Legion Commander finding some bonus damage out of this. Wisp still goes down. Not the fight that Na'Vi were looking for. Havost gets finished off now. It's Virtus.pro that come out ahead at 2 for 4. It's just Funnick left alive. Can they find the kill? No, they cannot. He blinks to safety. And a huge gold swing will go the way of Virtus.pro. That's a 3,500 gold swing. The rubber band effect may have been nerfed, but still has a big effect.
And finally, something nice goes VP's way. Just completely catching Na'Vi unawares there, and Wisp keeping in without a partner. Each DK stun. It's a kill right there.
Yeah, certainly so. So Na'Vi thrown away a little bit of that lead, but still very much so in command of this game.
Why
LC.
Mystic Staff?
I don't know. Before that fight broke down, I was gonna say, like, we spent so much time talking about how good the Aghanim's ultimate on Ancient Apparition is, and I don't know. It's one of the best upgrades you can get, and usually on a position 4 Ancient Apparition, that's a game changer. That's when a team can turtle up indefinitely or really get aggressive and force out shatters.
Yule's is also pretty good too. Great at counter initiating.
Get them cold feet.
Yeah, great at counter initiating Bat Rider and great for setup with cold feet. So I'm surprised that he opted for the Mystic Staff. See if it pays off.
Yeah, still sitting on brown boots also. So having still a very good game, 7-2-6, but this is where Ancient Apparition is very susceptible with the Blink Dagger on Bat in full effect now. Tree End is level 6, so there is an overgrowth to work with, but Na'Vi, they take out the tier 1 tower mid. They'll move into the tier 2. Out comes the Glyph and the Living Armor, and that will quell the push for now, but they'll take the high ground. Havost on the low, starting to bait it out. Looks like he'll just go straight into a Lincoln's. Nothing too crazy about this Weaver's build, and he's about 500 gold or so away from the recipe.
I think even a Veil would have been better for Dendy.
I agree. I like that you're just hooked on the.
I am. That's probably the most stunning thing.
It's the black sheep in this game. Well, it looks like we could see a fight break out as Sadoy. He's in the high ground. There you go. Right in onto FNG. Grabs the lasso. Funnick follows up, and FNG survives. The Wisp will keep him alive with a short-range relocate. And that's where the fight will end, at least for now. The relocate back onto the low ground. VP know it's coming, and they may hop on it, but oh my gosh. There we go, the follow-up now. Funnick goes in, hops onto Sadoy, but he gets locked in place. The winner goes to Sadoy. He goes down. It's a 1-for-1. Now the ultimate from the Witch Doctor. Both stuck inside of the overgrowth. It's enough to find the kill on the Weaver, and it's a 1-for-2. Not the fight that Na'Vi wanted. And Virtus.pro once again will come out successful and hold their tier 2 tower.
That was a nice anticipation by VP. They actually anticipated the Ice Blast coming and moved out as soon as the relocate happened. And then after that, without that significant damage source and with that Mystic Staff just rotting in Dendy's inventory, able to take that fight.
And now the Dragon Knight, he's starting to wise up, grabs the casual cloak, so he has something to deal with all this magic damage, and gets himself the Ogre Club. Dendy invisibility rune on, stalking the Dragon Knight, takes damage from the Skywrath. There's the close range Ice Blast. Dendy thrown in the right clicks. Cold Feet will proc, but they don't have the damage to bring him down. Won't be able to force the Shatter this time, or can they? In comes the Legion Commander. He overwhelms the odds and finds the kill off that one. Na'Vi with a quick pick in the mid.
That's the second time that's happened. I mean, actually, probably like a fourth time that's happened to a tanky hero like DK or Razor. They think they're okay with Ice Blast, and then boom, huge overwhelming odds from Funnick over and over.
Yeah, I'm still keeping tabs on Dendy. When's this Mystic Staff going to evolve into a Hex? Or is it? Only 1,400 gold. His farm is definitely slowed down a bit off that early momentum, and VP are starting to close the gap. Just looking at the graph, it's sort of plateauing at an 8,000 gold, 5,000 experience lead. And the Razor, he's starting to tango at the top, 7,200 net worth. Not too shabby considering both Havos and Dendy are at about 8K. He will go into a BKB, Phase Boots Bracer, and just looking to tank up. And BKB is the name of the game. You think if Virtus.pro can get enough of them, they can actually reclaim some momentum in this game, Merlini?
Yeah, especially if they get a pipe on any one of their heroes too. BKB on Razor especially is going to be very, very good. I don't think the Legion Commander is stacked enough yet to man mode on the Razor.
No, definitely not. Only 34 plus damage, so he's won a couple of duels, but still has a long way to go. And speaking of Black King bars, looks like that's where Funnick will move into following his Blink Dagger here, and just pulling up gold for the recipe now. First core item on Havos has been completed, and that'll be your Lincoln Sphere on the 13 Weaver, so now he's getting tanky, but here it is, Magic Immunity on Razor. 10 seconds of it, and maybe Virtus.pro will be a little more hungry for a fight. You mentioned a pipe, but I'm not sure who's going to have the gold to farm it up. I think the Treant is the natural carrier, but it's going to be a long time before Jottam has to farm for that.
Still, the casual cloak will serve him very, very well. And at this point, yeah, I don't know if the BKB on Legion Commander is actually going to do that much for them.
Yeah.
Razor, Static Link, Razor.
Basically just Dragon Tail and Cask, I think, are the two big ones. If he saves it for the Overgrowth, could save him there.
But usually you're going to be BKB and then you
Most mid lane. He gets caught by the last, so they interrupt the Lincolns. They'll lock him in place, even use a Death Ward for it, and put down a Sentry. They cover their bases. A double Sentry. Whoa, look at this. They really wanted that kill on the Weaver. Havos won't even be able to time lapse, and ends up being a quick pick. 1,200 net worth going the way of Virtus.pro.
Look also how they spread out now. For the A blast. No one really clumping around the tower. BZZ not even really right-clicking it. Well, here comes the Ice Blast. Will connect on a few as they start to retreat. They finish off the tower. Geo get credit for the kill, but it looks like Na'Vi won't be able to grab any kills as they sound the retreat. And it may be 22 to 11, but Virtus.pro still holding steady, and, well, they're still well in this game. And the relocate actually hasn't been that big of a factor either. So although the Wisp Skyrath did a lot of work early, they can't really TP into, like, let's say a BKB Razor or the Witch Doctor with Paralyzing Cast up. And when they're trying to save an important hero like Weaver, they don't have
now
backup.
Right onto Yol. Funnick will connect to the duel, and the isolated Witch Doctor, they barely bring him down in time to get the bonus damage. Yeah, well. Easy. It was a close one, but yeah, 48 damage now up on Funnick. So a few more pickoffs like that, and all of a sudden this LC will be hitting pretty damn hard.
Indeed, indeed it will be. So how's Dendy making headway on his next item? Ultimate Orb.
Ooh, he's bought something. Is that an orb on the courier?
It
sure is. So that's your BKB completed on Funnick also. And how big of a deal is the Hex at this timing? He'll have it like 24 minutes, give or take?
Well,
sooner than that, 23 minutes more likely.
He doesn't really have the mobility to pop it off before they get their BKBs. Like, you can't just like run up to people as AA and then hex them.
Well, that's the strange thing about it, because AA is one that wants to sit in the back, wants to get those big Ice Blasts, so he just doesn't seem like a good choice to be the Hex Rusher.
I think it's good as like a third or fourth item, but yeah, as the Hex Rush goes, it's
funky.
It's strange.
Yeah, well, G has definitely found some recovery for him. Still pretty low on net worth relative to everyone else, but now has his BKB to go with his cloak. And as we've talked about, that's a huge item. Very core on the Dragon Knight in general, but now their two frontlining cores have their BKBs, and Bat Rider, he'll be looking towards his next. Has the Blink 4 staff, 1,700 gold to spare, so about 2,300 gold away, and he'll have some magic immunity of his own. Virtus.pro posturing around the tier 2 tower down bottom as Na'Vi are starting to group up. Na'Vi have a ward up on the plateau outside of the Roche pit, but not for long. Yol comes in with a sentry ward and will reclaim vision control for VP on this side of the map. But speak of the devil, there's your Scythe of Ice on old Frosty.
At this point, VP can kind of just bum rush Na'Vi, and they, with the BKBs that is, and Na'Vi don't really have that great disengage. Weaver, as we saw, even with the Lincolns, can still easily be taken down. Force Staff can pop the Lincolns, or a myriad of other spells, and then just disable the death. They can't really save them. The relocate generally not going to be quick enough to do so, and the only one with a disengage is Weaver at this point. I guess technically the LC can run away, but once they duel, they're locked in.
Yeah, and now they'll siege the tower. Sadoy with an invisibility rune on, will initiate onto Funnick. The Ice Blast flies through, will clip on a few. There's the relocate. That saves Funnick from the lasso. Now the BKBs are used. Vanscore going to be the first one to go down, and it looks like Funnick will move into the tree line. Virtus.pro get a quick 1-for-0 on the Wisp, and they'll still siege the tower, perhaps. They're backing up, benefiting from the heal of Yol's Voodoo Restoration. Now Funnick reinitiates, goes right in under PCC. There's the duel, but they might be able to turn around the other way. The winner goes the way of Razor. He gets the extra damage. It'll cost him his life, but not the trade Na'Vi wanted by any stretch of the imagination. And Virtus.pro, they're regaining a lot of momentum. I think they can still pressure this tier 1 tower. The glyph has already been used. This tower will certainly go down. The question is, can they get another kill out of it? Dendi, only on brown boots, could get left behind here. Sadoy blinks forward, stacking up the sticky, has one charge on Dendi already, takes a silence, and there's the Force Staff to make sure the Ancient Apparition will live. Now the Ice Blast flies through from close range, will hit on Sadoy. Is there enough follow-up damage there to find a kill? And Sadoy will try to TP out. Close comes in, won't have the damage. Jotum, same story. And VP will walk away with a positive exchange under their belt.
I still don't see the synergy of this Hex. He hexed the Razor, but the damage had already been done. He already won the duel. He already used his BKB. And yeah, they just come out way on top of that because they didn't really have any way to counter-initiate the lasso if they go on LC.
Yeah, so at the beginning of this game, it seemed like Na'Vi might be able to run away with a quick victory, but every team fight now seems to be either a break-even or slightly in favor of Virtus.pro. That one, they had a 1-kill advantage and got a tower out of it. Odds-wise, what are you looking at? Do you think it's about 50-50? Does Virtus.pro have a good chance of taking this game, do you think?
I still would say like slightly in favor of Na'Vi. They just need to execute quick picks around the map with the lasso, and VP, if they want a 5-man, they have to push into an AA ultimate. Ideally, it would have been with a Scepter. That just makes things a lot more difficult, especially with that massive amount of sustain that they have. But at this point, like, neither team is strong enough to do Roshan. Neither team, I don't think, strong enough to push T2s either, so still very close.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's evolving more into a 50-50 game where Na'Vi had such an advantage early on, and now we'll see initiation. Smoke rotation towards the mid. Lasso onto Dendi to get it started. He'll be able to survive right away, but now Virtus.pro can continue forward. Funnick goes in. A little bit YOLO here onto Sadoy again. He's going to get taken out. More damage goes the way of the Bat Rider, now up to 28. And Na'Vi, it seems their communication isn't there. The relocate back. He brought Dendi with him. Oh no! It's a disaster. Now it's a 3-for-0, and Virtus.pro take a huge exchange in the mid.
Dire's bottom tower
This was what I was talking about with the BKB on Legion Commander. Like, yeah, sure, he can BKB and blink and ult, but there's so many things. Death Ward can just pound him, Razor, steal all his damage, and just straight kill him. I have the Storm, and just Overgrowth. I don't really know why he's playing hyper aggressively when there's really not that much follow-up.
It just seems like Na'Vi are starting to crumble a bit now at this stage in the game. Now that they're losing momentum, you see just this total difference in mentality where Dendi gets initiated on the Wisp, forced to relocate defensively. A smart play, but at that point it seems like it would have been wise for Na'Vi just to disengage, get back to a tier 2 tower and take the fight there. Instead, Funnick goes running in, he dies, and then the Wisp, he has to relocate back, but not breaking the tether on Dendi just feels like a massive misplay there.
Yeah. I think with the MVP for VP thus far has been the Bat Rider. Sadoy has just been playing phenomenally, getting a super fast blink to counter Na'Vi's aggression, not like helping out too much and dying, which would have slowed it down a lot. Finding really good Bat Rider initiates on very easy to kill heroes such as Dendi, or even going for the LC in times of opportunity. And yeah, keeping his farm up, BOTs, and Force Staff to complement his Blink Dagger.
And now moving into the BKB. Thought he may stop off for that before the BOTs come out, but essentially a recipe away, and that'll be another piece of Magic immunity for Virtus.pro. Trian has now picked up a medallion, 1400 gold on top of that, and the DK now moving into an Assault Karas has actually ditched his casual cloak for now to pick up the Hyperstone. And I still think a pipe would be well advised for Virtus.pro, but so far they're doing pretty well. Glancing at the graph, the gold lead now a meager 2,000 for Na'Vi in the experience, just about zeroed out as Havost moves into a Yasha following this Linken's.
Manta is nice versus single target capabilities.
It's good against the Treant too.
Yeah, it's good against Treant. But he's not going to be doing that much damage, and I think they really like physical damage, especially with Legion Commander losing a lot of the most recent duels.
He's lost 3 duels, 2 to the Bat Rider and 1 to the Razor, so a lot of damage has been given away, and well, something else just helping out Virtus.pro here. Looks like we'll see both teams start to groove up towards tower pushes. Na'Vi grouping up in the mid towards the tier 2, and up top it is Virtus.pro looking at this tier 1 tower and getting some tower momentum for themselves. Dragon Knight also finding his level 6 team, so I mean that 3rd point Elder Dragon form, of course, giving him a little bit more utility, and it was G that picked up the Aegis off of the Roshan, so they'll have to kill him twice. Na'Vi popping their glyph, will delay the push, and looks like Virtus.pro will try to move into the tier 2 tower though. They have a glyph of their own, they could TP back if they want to mount a defense, and they will just do that, or do just that.
And going back to the gold graph, about 2,000 lead, if you consider if you take out the Midas for Dendi, which is pretty much just an investment in the future, it's just almost a 0.
It's even, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and especially on a hero like Ancient Apparition, he doesn't really benefit from the attack speed all that much. Maybe in the lane he did, but at this point, he's not auto-attacking shit.
No, he's not. And he also had to buy money for, or spend money on a gem for good old Weaver.
And it was, okay, Weaver is still carrying it, so it did hit the deck. Looks like Avos was able to recover it.
Still, their farm just hasn't really amounted to much. The BKB hasn't paid off for Legion Commander, the Scythe device has not paid off for Ancient Apparition, and now I guess Na'Vi's in recovery mode, trying to get kills, trying to maybe even get some duels on Funnick, which seemed like a easy conclusion a few minutes ago, is now an extremely difficult outcome for a fight.
Yeah, it still feels like this Wisp hasn't really paid off all that much. Most of VanScore's relocates have been of a defensive nature, and several times it has saved some of their core heroes, but really with a Wisp LC, I feel like you need to try and get some more wards down, especially when you have the gem advantage, and just look for those quick picks like they did on the Witch Doctor maybe 10 minutes ago. That's going to be your bread and butter to get this LC
VP
back in the game.
hasn't really been splitting up, though, to be fair.
Not too much, but I think there's been some I mean, we've seen like 2 offensive relocates total in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Still not very many.
I mean, look at their position right now, though. It's
Yeah.
Razor with the BKB and actually a Shiva's guard on top of that.
Yeah, I just picked it up. That's his fresh new baby. Pretty good against the Weaver and the LC. Solid item pickup. Gives him a lot of utility also.
I think he could have gone for the pipe.
Oh, Sadoy gets turned into a piggy. Out comes the Mystic Flare, but sort of an odd little skirmish, and Na'Vi will just disengage. FNG TPing out in the tree line. Sadoy almost catching vision there, but won't quite find him. Now it's Na'Vi up towards the top lane, pressuring this tier 2, and meanwhile in the mid, Virtus.pro pressuring a tier 2 of their own.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ice Blast, flying towards the mid lane. Will connect. How much time is left on the old Aegis there? Yeah, not a hell of a lot. So it looks like Virtus.pro won't be able to make great use of the second life on DK, but now he will have the space to farm up the Assault Karas, and now sieging towers becomes that much easier. And on that same note, Virtus.pro picking up a gem of their own and maybe regaining a little bit of map control up top. Sadoy gets hexed, gets dueled, and that'll be a quick pick. VanScore gets credit for that one, but Funnick getting the bonus damage out of it.
Yeah, this is what I think they should have been doing a while ago instead of trying to fight a 5-on-5, but at the same time, Sadoy has been getting the jump on them instead of vice versa. So nice quick turnaround for Na'Vi there.
Yeah, steps in the right direction, but now it's a very even game, and you're talking about maybe more of a 50-50. Sure, Na'Vi have about a 5,000 gold experience edge, but at this stage of the game with the BKBs, those items are more valuable against this Na'Vi lineup than their gold equivalent translates. So I think the graphs are certainly a bit misleading. as Virtus.pro still in great shape. But boy, is the momentum slowed down. Both sides fairly comfortable just sitting back and farming and waiting for the other to make that misstep and get caught off guard. Na'Vi, of course, looking for a relocate, and Virtus.pro just trying to find the right angle to take a team fight. Vanscore does have the mech complete, has the recipe at home in that safety deposit box, but always a big item on the Wisp. Of course, that double heal on the tether can be a game changer in these kind of skirmishes.
And after G's atrocious start, he's almost on par with Dendi.
Yeah,
in net worth.
200 gold behind. It's pretty impressive how well he's recovered.
Dire's bottom tower is under
And they
attack.
pretty much have access to Roshan whenever they want to. They can easily smoke in, have a lot of minus armor to do it, as well as a lot of sustainability, whereas Na'Vi, they can't really do Roshan. Weaver doesn't have that much damage since he went for a Yasha instead of a more traditional build like a Desolator. And yeah, I mean, the Manta, does it really pay off for him in this scenario? It doesn't seem like it.
I would say no. I like the Weaver going just a little bit more hard damage. I think Deso is just a naturally great item on the Weaver. Not a lot of synergy across this game, but enough with the LC that I think it may be a worthy pickup. We've seen how much of an impact the BKBs have had, so to me that says Na'Vi need to compensate for that with more physical damage, and a Desolator is one great way to do it.
Yeah, or he could go full defensive too with BKB, although I think that's not as good for him.
They need somebody to do damage. If Funnick was balling out of control and had like 150 plus damage right now, I think that could work, but with only 66, I mean, this LC still isn't really that scary, to be frank.
Yeah, Funnick had just such a fantastic start too.
Yeah, well, 3,500 gold. We'll see who he wants to move into next. Blade Mail could be an option, but probably Maelstrom into Mjolnir the most likely choice. Pretty core on the LC these days.
Blade Mail not really a big deal now that VP has the 2 BKBs that they so desperately need.
Yeah, fair point. And soon to be 3. Sadoy has his Ogre Club now, 2,100 gold. He's not so far away from his bout of Magic Immunity, and still just the Farm Fest continues. It's almost been just this line across the middle of the map where both teams sitting in their own jungle, farming up, pushing out the lanes, and right now both creep waves meeting just about in the middle of the map, with the exception of the top lane. So what's the catalyst to get the fighting starting again here, Merlini? Is it going to be the second Roshan, perhaps, that we'll see skirmishes break out for?
Second Roshan for VP. For Na'Vi, their cue to fight is when VP split up and they can perhaps get easy dual kills or a scythe into whatever combo Na'Vi may lead into after that. So if VP push, you counter with AA ultimate and look for a very good opportunity. And if they split push, you look to gank them with LC. So it really kind of depends on VP's gameplay. They're not necessarily stronger because they're still lower in terms of net worth, but in terms of momentum shift and potential threats in team fights and strength due to BKB, they'll come out on top.
Well, curious where Havost will go with his next item. About 3,000 gold up on him. It will be a fast Roche respawn, just about 45 seconds past the initial timer. So if that's what Virtus.pro are waiting for, they may be getting aggressive sooner rather than later. And the state of this game is another reason why the Scythe on Dendi just doesn't seem like a very valuable item. Even with the Ancient Apparition in a slow game like this, you can still harass across the map, and that's where the Ags just gives you extra damage, more harassing potential, and just makes him more of a threat in general. And so far the Hex, I mean, how many times has he used it? You could count it on one hand, I think.
Yes. Yes, that is. And at the same time, too, the BKB duration is going to outlast the duration of the Ice Blast, which usually is not even close to an issue when you have the Scepter on AA, and no one's really going to shatter when they have BKB up.
Yeah, that's another really good point. That added duration. Maybe it's where Dendi will look towards next. He has picked up a Force Staff as his item following the Scythe. Has also found his level 16, so of course maxing out that ultimate and making it a bit more potent. Virtus.pro did smoke up, but it has expired now, but they look for a rotation in the Radiant jungle, and happen to be right as Na'Vi were rotating into the Dire jungle. They're smoked up right now, perhaps looking for blood, pressing towards this top tier 2 tower. Not the ideal time to fight though, as now Batrider has his BKB. G, he's got an invisibility rune. They'll go right in on Havost. The BKB, or the Linkens rather, gets broken, and Sadoy won't find the lasso, but he will make it back unscathed. Vanscore's already used his relocate. They ping it out. So now Virtus.pro, they want to fight, and they may find a freebie on Vanscore here as he comes back. Yep, absolutely. Right into a Dragon Tail, and well, not the biggest of pickoffs, only a Wisp, but still Virtus.pro. They get something for nothing.
And Na'Vi just trying to pick away at VP's defenses, waiting for them to make a blunder in their positioning. But VP playing as a very tight unit now. Not well, the one time that we saw them giving up an easy kill was Witch Doctor out in bottom lane, but since then they really haven't split up and given Funnick and Vanscore any opportunities to get free plus damage.
Now Virtus.pro on the aggressive. They've got some wards down in the Radiant jungle here. Sadoy flying overhead and won't be able to find anything that he's looking for, as Na'Vi very defensive positioning around that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Havost will rendezvous with him here. Still hasn't spent any of that gold, but he's up to 5,000, level 20. So the Weaver has been rising up a storm. He is #1 on net worth by a pretty decent margin, about 2K over the Razor. And, well, still looking to see where he'll make that investment. Virtus.pro moving to the Roche pit, but Ice Blast comes in, will scout it out, and that will be enough to repel VP, at least for now. Na'Vi making movements towards the pit, and this is where the big fight could possibly break out. Also interesting to note that FNG with a point booster. This will be an Aghanim Skywrath mage if farm allows.
Or Bloodstone.
Or Bloodstone, that's true.
Not
That's a good
really
point.
sure
Actually,
yet.
Bloodstone is probably a bit more likely. I got too excited about the prospect of an Aghanim Scepter on Skywrath.
It's very unlikely to get it on a support.
Yeah,
But
I take that back. It'll be...
it could just be for HP.
Oh, Sadoy gets jumped on. He gets turned into a piggy. They'll find a kill on the Bat Rider straight away. Now Funnick coming in, uses the duel, but it won't do a hell of a lot. Now he gets turned around on the Overgrowth, comes out. Jotum taking a lot of damage off to the side, but it's VZZ in the front. He'll try to chase him down, takes a concussive from FNG. Now G joining the party. The Frostworm form has been used, and FNG headed for the hills. It's a 1-for-1 LC for Bat Rider, and that's where this fight will settle down. Now around the backside, Ice Blast comes in, will connect onto Yol. Forget about that Voodoo Restoration, not going to do much through that, and it is Na'Vi that come out successful in this fight in a 1-for-2.
Very great job by Na'Vi outmaneuvering VZZ and G in that fight. And neither of those two heroes have blink or any sort of like great mobility, so their ability to kite is actually pretty good. It's just difficult to do so during the BKB, and during the BKB they kind of sacrifice Funnick. And after that, they're free to kite all day.
Havost will move into a butterfly, and there it is, completed up following the success of that skirmish, and that will be enough for Na'Vi to move towards the Roche pit. With the Bat Rider down, they're feeling pretty confident, and rightfully so. Virtus.pro not in a great position to contest this. They're lingering around the pit, but won't be able to go in and do anything about it. It's Weaver that grabs the Aegis of the Immortal, and Havost now with a second light and a butterfly. VP do not have any tools to deal with this evasion, so we were wondering what Havost would go, and I think this makes a lot of sense. G with 3,100 gold may be forced into an MKB as his next core item.
I believe so. I do believe so.
Yeah, no hex, no real natural hex carrier here, and losing a headset.
Whoa.
Well, calm down, Merlini. Jeez, I know this game's exciting, but try to contain yourself.
BCC going for a heart. Does he? I don't really think he needs more survivability. He already has BKB, he already has Shivas. I think something like an Ags just to kill LC even faster during a BKB might have been good, and also gives you a ton of HP on the side too. So I'm a little surprised that he isn't going a more offensive build.
Yeah, on paper, the strategy of just massing HP against the Ancient Apparition tends to be the way to go, so perhaps that's the general thought process, but I agree with you. They're going to run up to this point now where they'll be lacking damage. Sure, Dragonite is recovered, but still isn't really that much of a hard hitter with just an AC and BKB, and Havost is doing some pretty decent damage at this point. And with Razor going such a defensive build, where's the damage output coming from?
At the same time, it is really hard for him to catch up with Havost, so maybe Moose Meat might be better.
Here we go, initiation mid, but once again, the lasso comes out on Havost. He'll be able to survive, compliments of the relocate. Funnick going in, gets off the duel, won't get any bonus damage, trades 1-for-1 Bat Rider for the LC. Now they get the kill on the tree, and Havost will run away, has a time lapse available, gets relocated back towards the mid lane, and it will be a 2-for-2 as G picks off the Skywrath Mage off to the side there. So a very even trade across the board. It is Virtus.pro that get a minor gold advantage out of it, but essentially a break even. Na'Vi also gets the tier 2 tower mid, though was it denied? No, it was Havost that actually got the last hit on the tower.
And LC looking decent at plus 102 damage, and at this point Na'Vi don't really have the burst to deal with the 2 BKBs, and I mean that's been a big problem for the last 20 minutes.
Here we go, G getting initiated on once more as Havost, baits it out, Ice Blast comes in, will connect onto the Dragon Knight, but the follow-up damage just isn't there.
Wonder what AAA is going to go for next, sitting on a nice heap of gold.
I feel like it has to be the Ags. It's such a great item.
That's what we said the first time.
I mean, even 45 minutes in, it's still worth it. What else would you want to go for here?
Refresher, maybe?
Radiant's
I don't
bottom
know.
tower is
Refresher?
under attack.
Outside the box, man. That's Dendy.
It's Dendy, but I mean, the Ags just gives you so much more value than a Refresher.
Double sight?
Double Scythe is good, but is he in a position to use it is the real question.
I mean, he's only died 3 times. It seems like he's died a lot more, but his score is 8-3-12 after all.
I mean, he's played a good game. Who are we to question?
Okay, he bought an item.
Okay, where are you, Courier? What's he got? It's an Ags.
Okay. Whew.
So there you go, just looking for the point booster, and we'll grab it as he finishes off this set of the Fell Spirits here. So there's the Aghanim Scepter. Still an odd item trajectory. We probably beat it to death, but now we'll have that long duration Ice Blast, and that problem we talked about with the BKBs will kind of go away. Razors is down to 6 seconds. Dragon Knight's also on 6 seconds, and Bat Rider, he's still looking pretty fresh. He's sitting at 9, but now with 17 seconds of Ice Blast duration, there still is the chance that this Dire team may be shattered up.
Yeah, I'm still confused about this heart pickup by Razor. Like, what's he
Radiant's
really
top
worried
tower
about
is under
dying
attack.
to? If he's worried about dying to the Skywrath plus the AA, then he can get a pipe. If he's worried about dying to the Weaver and the LC, then he can get, like, let's say a Butterfly, a Halberd, even a Manta style versus single target heroes wouldn't be terrible.
I mean, in general, HP is a good rule of thumb against LC. You know, just survive the duration of the duel, and you're not feeding her the damage.
But he almost never gets dueled. It's usually Witch Doctor.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate to some degree and try and get in the head of the player and see why he might be looking towards the heart. But yeah, maybe a Halberd actually could have gone a long way with Havost committing to the Butterfly here. Not really looking for a BKB straight up, though. Now he has 5,000 gold, and this is where the Weaver becomes a big problem. They just don't have enough to deal with him, and this double damage rune on Havost will secure a tier 2 tower down in the bottom lane. And he's getting out of control. He can almost afford whatever his next item will be. I think just a straight Daedalus for raw damage is where Havost should go next.
Daedalus is nice. MKB is also decent too. Can stop weird things like Witch Doctor Ultimate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Witch Doctor, he's had a couple of decent ultimates this game. I think the tanky Razor build also would have made some more sense if Yol had better farm. If he was like at an Ags or very close to it, we're 45 minutes in, so within the realm of reason, but he has just an Ogre Club, nowhere near an Aghanim. He's not even that close to a BKB. As we may see a fight break out here, Funnick going in, jumps right onto BZZ, out comes the Mystic Flare to follow up, and the lasso right onto Funnick, but the tree and ultimate to follow up. It will be BZZ that goes down first. It's Jotum in the fray. That'll make it a 2-0 to get things started. Funnick taking a lot of damage, finally goes down, but it's Navi that look like they're coming out ahead in this fight. G taking some damage off to the side as Dendy goes blow for blow. Havost, meanwhile, Funnick finishes down the Bat Rider. Chaos is breaking out as Navi take a huge team fight, an ultra kill for Havost. A lot of buybacks used on the Radiant side, and I don't know what LD's key for buyback is, but oh man. It's 2 buybacks used there, the Dragon Knight as well as the Razor.
Vanscore's really good at these short-range relocates, though.
Yeah, that's how he's been using it all game. As we've talked about, it's been very defensive, but it's made all the difference in the world in these team fights.
Yeah, just bailing his teammates out of almost certain death.
And now the Glyph finally comes out as Havost, just laying into this tower. We'll be able to grab the tier 3 for sure. BZZ and G coming in. They want to contest this, but figuring out how is another question. Dendy will force that in, uses the Hex onto G, connects with the Ice Blast. He should shatter, uses the BKB. That'll buy him some time. Now Vanscore getting manned up on by BZZ, finds the kill on the Wisp. G, will he shatter here? No, it looks like the Living Armor will be enough to keep him alive, absorbing those instances of damage, and boy, was that one a close call.
Yeah, so where did the gem end up going?
Well, let's take a look. There's one in the inventory of Havost and one in the inventory of BZZ, so still one apiece. Havost did not die that fight, and he was carrying one of the gems for his team. Now the full Daedalus has arrived, and he still has another 2,800 gold sitting in the bank.
And that was 2 buybacks used, one by Razor, one by DK, crippling their economy even more than it already was.
Yeah. Looking rough for the Dire side now. The graph way in favor of Navi, the biggest lead we've seen this game, nearly 20,000 gold, about 13,000 experience.
And now they finally have like very good form on Havos too. Daedalus completed. His illusions do a fair chunk of damage at this point too. Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know how you deal with the Weaver at this stage of the game. Looks like the MKB will be on the way for G, but still a ways off. That buyback really setting him back. Just needs another Javelin's worth of gold, about 1,000 gold away. But even with the MKB, I feel like that's not enough to really shut down this Weaver, especially when he's tethered up with that Wisp, who not only can feed him some regeneration, double heal him with the mech, but also just using that short-range relocate to get him out of a sticky situation if he gets caught by the lasso or anything on the like.
And on top of that, the pressing attack, I think that Funnick has been very good about using it defensively, throwing lassos and saving whoever gets lassoed instead of using it purely offensively.
And here we go, initiation breaking out in the top lane, the duel onto BZZ, but Funnick will be interrupted as the lasso comes out. His BKB's on, but Overgrowth and Death Ward utilized. He'll go down first, and the rest of Na'Vi will leave him high and dry as they cut their losses and make the escape. So Virtus.pro get a freebie out of that one with a failed gank from Na'Vi, but a fresh double damage rune picked up by Havos. Even in a 4v5 with this much extra damage on the Weaver, this could be potentially fatal for Virtus.pro.
At the same time, though, they will have eyes on him if Sidoi does catch Violet. I think he can die in a DK stun.
Yeah, well, it won't matter now. He'll reveal himself with the creep wave, and Virtus.pro will head back to safety up top. So VP hang on a bit longer with a quick pick on that one. That kind of staggers the lead for now, but still a solid 20,000 gold, 13,000 experience. MKB will be completed on the Dragon Knight following the success of that fight. Starting to hit hard, but is it hard enough? I mean, what are you thinking here, Merlini? What can Virtus.pro do to try and shut down Havos at this point?
Well, I think first coordinate a nice series of like 4 staff into the Lincolns and then immediate DK stun afterwards into like a Death Ward. It's going to take extreme amounts of teamwork in order to kill him before a Presto attack happens or before a Wisp relocate happens. So I don't know. I think they also just really need to limit Roshan because there's no way they can kill Weaver twice. That's also important, but maybe they kind of ignore him since he went for a lot of survivability items in the Manta and the Lincolns.
Here's your BKB completed on Havos also, so maximum survivability at this point. Pretty solid HP pool. It's on the way via the courier now. At this point of the game, 10 seconds of fresh magic immunity. It's scary. We're 50 minutes in. Roche has respawned also, so third Roche with the cheese is an option, as it looks like Virtus.pro will be making movements towards the pit.
How is Yol progressing along in his old scepter?
Not so hot. Still just the Ogre Club. 1,100 gold towards it, but so quite a ways away. Havos goes into the Roche pit. He gets jumped on, but Funnick right there with the pressure attack, and well, Havos is safe and sound.
That was such a quick response from Funnick. My goodness.
Yeah, very clutch indeed. Havos just laying into the Razor. Vanscore goes up to the high ground. Will relocate back, and he'll be okay, but whew, close call. Havos still going hard on Roshan. Sidoi on the high ground. No lasso, but maybe looking for an Aegis snatch. Now with the bash on Havos, the fight will break out. They're going on to Funnick first. Navi's finishing off Roshan, or trying to. Goes down to the Radiant. Aegis will get snatched by the Treant Protector. And now the Death Ward comes out doing a lot of damage. Dendi goes down, but Havos, BKB on, takes out the Witch Doctor. The duel from Funnick goes on to BZZ, but they don't have the damage. It's Funnick that's going to be in trouble. Damage will not go the way of Razor, but it is still a dead LC. And it's a 2-for-2. Aegis of the Immortal still in the inventory of the Treant. And it will be another break even. Virtus.pro with a pretty successful defense in the Roche pick and a nice little net worth boon out of it.
Death came to the Bat Rider very swiftly. They used AA ultimate on him, plus the right clicks from Havos to take him down. But at the same time, that was when VP had 3 heroes wrapping around from the left side of the Roshan pit. And with no Ice Blast on them, they were pretty much just left unchecked to do whatever they want. And of course, the nice snatch coming out from Treant Protector there really made that Roshan a bad fight for Na'Vi.
Yeah, the last hit still went the way of Na'Vi, so that team fight recap, maybe a little misleading. They got the gold boon before that happened, but sort of all the difference in the world of that fight, how they were forced to use the relocate on Vanscore early on in that fight to get back to safety. And well, it was an interesting plan to scout it out and kind of a close call, but I feel like they need that ability just to reset things a little bit with whoever gets caught in a lasso or an overgrowth or even just stunned by the DK. They're in a bad position.
Is Havos going to get a different item as a 6th slot?
Well, That's a good question. Do you think it's worth dumping the Lincolns and going for something a little more aggressive? And if so, what do you look towards here? He's already got pretty serious damage items.
It doesn't have to be aggressive. It could also be defensive. Like even a satanic for him, maybe.
That could be okay. Get a little lifesteal out on the field.
And HP, of course.
Yeah. I mean, if he wanted to just go full defensive, he could toss the Lincolns and get a heart if he just wants to go max HP. He only has 2,300 hit points. Good, not great at this point. He will get jumped on here. Lincolns gets broken. Sadoy trying to find him, but the Manta throws him off. BKB from the most use pulls him into no man's land, but with the BKB, they just don't have enough damage. Or do they? The overgrowth, now the time lapse back. And Avost will be A-OK. Funnick gets initiated on, tries to BKB TP home. That won't happen, and it's another quick pick for Virtus.pro. And they'll find a freebie on the LC instead.
Yeah, too much damage stolen from BZZ during that fight.
Yep.
Sitting at plus 196 for that one.
Yeah, and he's got 5,600 gold also. So this Razor, we talked about going for maybe an Ags refresher at this point. He can't grab both quite yet. Do you think, is it still worthy to get the Ags, or is the refresher perhaps an item for him?
Great for sieging.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Razor just did incredible amounts of damage. He doesn't have a scepter. He went 3 defensive items, the Shiva's, the Heart, and the BKB, and he still just melted the LC.
FNG gets caught out here by Jonathan. He'll be able to survive as Avost comes around the backside. Will time-lapse back to the high ground. The Ice Blast did connect on a lot of these heroes, so Navi really want to take this fight while they can and try to force a few shatters. Ice Blast will expire, but G gets left behind, hexed up by Dendi. And they've got the damage to bring him down with the ultimate of the Skywrath Mage. Virtus.pro will be repelled. The rest of the team will TP out, but Dragon Knight down for 100 seconds. Decent net worth swing going the way of Navi off that one, and they'll head straight for the high ground. Is there a buyback? No, we're going to have to use the old, do it the manual way here. There is a buyback on the Dragon Knight, so probably won't be barracks off this, but Navi may try to force it and stymie his gold gain that much more, as he does now have a Crystallis looking towards the Daedalus.
VP have to be better with either BKBs on their heroes so they don't get hexed to death, or they have to be better with Force Staffs. I think that's a better option to counteract the hex usage by Dendi. This hex is now paying off for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt a good item. It was the trajectory that we were questioning, not the nature of the hex. It is now a Perseverance in the inventory of Dendi, so I feel like that has to be a Lincoln's coming
Refresher, dude.
Do you really think it'll be Refresher?
Why not? Double Sheaf, double AA ultimate?
Okay.
How can you push into that?
That's a good question. All right, maybe it will be the Refresher. Only time will tell, my friend. Right now, Glyph available for the dire side, and Bo's just going hard on the tower. He will force out the Glyph straight away, takes a positive earn charge, gets his attack pressed. And now just goes back into the tower. Sadoy coming in again. The Manta from Avost throwing him off. The Bat Rider gets completely juiced. Now Jonathan goes in. He takes the silence. That'll be the end of the Aegis. Navi looking good in this fight. It is Funnick taking a lot of damage off this Death Ward. He'll go down. It's a 1-for-1 plus the Aegis. Navi making the retreat, but it could be a fake back. Maybe they'll be able to turn. Dendi throws out the ultimate, connects on a few. Jotum getting a bit too aggressive. Gets finished off by Avost. He'll find a double kill. Cold Feet rocks on the BZZ. Avost needs to be careful, but laying in a lot of damage. Gets finished off. Bites off more than he can chew. It's a 2-for-3 now. Navi starting to retreat. They find the kill on the Dragon Knight as Vanscore forces the shatter. Now it's the 2-for-4 they were hoping for, and perhaps can look towards that high ground after all.
Big AA ult by Dendi there, and big split by Weaver. This Manta has come in useful so many times because Sadoy, he has Force Staff and then Lasso, and every time the Lincoln pops, he immediately Manta styles, and in that split second of confusion, he just got crit twice and died.
Yeah, lots of buybacks used here. Avost is back on the field. Virtus.pro, they are out of buybacks. This is the hold they need to make. They don't have a Glyph. Tower goes down. BZZ gets hexed. He'll get Force Staff back to safety, but what do they have here? No Witch Doctor ultimate for another 15 seconds, and without a Glyph, this is hard to defend. They'll do some decent sure damage to the ranged barracks. Avost still looking to stay aggressive. BKB at the ready, 7 seconds left on it. And now they move back in. They'll be able to finish off the ranged barracks. Virtus.pro looking for the right way to initiate. Manta used. And now Navi playing this rather passive. It looks like they will count their blessings and start to back out. It was essentially a dieback for the Dragon Knight. So he is stuck in the grave for another 35 seconds. Navi trying to capitalize on that, but looks like they won't be able to get much more than a ranged barracks.
They're scared of the Lasso.
Yeah.
Lasso in this area is just really dangerous because you can be lassoed into the T4s. And your team, if they chase into like a big Death Ward coming up from Witch Doctor, actually he doesn't have Scepter yet.
Now he does.
Could buy it right now.
Yeah, 57 minutes in. better late than never. Past the window where it's really devastating, but he's level 17 and still has some serious potential. And these last few fights, he's been able to channel a few, and there you go, good call. It's the refresher out on Dendi. Has it complete, and we'll go ahead back to the base to pick it up. So, you think this is the nail in the coffin? Can Navi seal the deal with the refresher AA?
It's not a great like offensive item in terms of pushing high ground, but it's amazingly superb on the defense. If VP ever wants to push, like if they're in the river, you shoot AA ultimate, and if they try and press on and take another one during the fight, it's over. Like just straight up from there, especially without a pipe on VP side. So I think it is really, really good, and on top of that, the double hex, especially with the BKBs being 5 seconds on Dragon Knight and 5 seconds left on the Razor.
Yeah, speaking of Razor, he has gone for a core damage item now in the Monkey King bar, so getting some true strike of his own to help deal with Havost. And well, we were saying he's lacking damage, but it's rare to see Razor build this kind of standard right click, whereas the Aghanim's refresher has been really what's allowed Razor to scale into the late game in this meta in terms of his popularity.
Yep. And what's our Roshan timer look like?
Well, still haven't seen the RNG yet, so who knows? Could be a quick one, could be a long one. This will be Roche number 4, so of course Aegis and Cheese will be coming out. The Dragon Knight is starting to get scary though. We talked about the Crystallis with 2,500 gold. No reason to pull for buyback, so just the recipe cost away, and he'll have that big hard-hitting item, and he is definitely transitioned into a full carry. The big difference here is that the Dire side have all of their core buybacks on cooldown. Bat Rider, Razor, and Dragon Knight all have about 3 minutes left on their timer. Navi may not force the issue as Havost is in a similar state, but we'll see. Speaking of that Skywrath Mage, it looks like we were both wrong here. It's just a casual point booster, now moving into a Mystic Staff, so it appears a Hex may be his item of choice as well.
Why no Veils, bros?
Yeah. Veil could be pretty damn good. Who's the ideal person to build it up, though? I guess the Skywrath.
It's great for AA. I mean, AA has the gold for it. Ideally, it'd be Skywrath, but Ancient Apparition still has a slot for it. BOTs plus Veil. Be pretty good for him.
Yeah. Well, things slowing down once more. Virtus.pro staying grouped up on their side of the map, trying to find farm when they can, but this is that stage of the game where against a Wisp, you really have to stay grouped up. Even just to relocate with either the LC or the Weaver could be devastating. LC still not hitting that hard, only plus 100 damage for 60 minutes into a game. Not really as much as you would expect. BKB, AC, Blink. Now the Vitality Booster looks like he'll move into some tanky items here as VP smoked up, moving through the Radiant jungle, but Navi with the same idea. They're headed into the Dire jungle as they rotate through the top lane. So once more, this will be an unsuccessful smoke as both teams dodge one another.
But VP's questioning Navi's intentions. They're like, why are they not around the Roche pit? We'll just take Roche if they're going to push top.
It's a fast timer.
I think it's not a good trade-off for Navi. Yeah, they're like kind of close to taking the melee Rex, but it's an hour into the game.
Yeah, at this stage, it's pretty important. Sadoy uses his BKB here.
Probably meant to just TP.
That could be costly.
Well, the opponents don't know that.
True. That's a good point. Although, yeah, he was in the Roche pit, so no real chance of vision. But if Navi choose to initiate in the next 30 seconds or so, that could be scary. Looks like that window won't happen. So, all right, nothing lost. It was a 5-second BKB anyhow. But Navi's aggression does force Virtus.pro back. Roche is completely respawn now, so we'll see the teams look towards that pretty quickly. There's a Blink Dagger on the tree, and he picked it up a while ago, but worth reiterating as that ultimate is proven to be key in a couple of these fights.
AA's strength is not in pushing high ground, and I think Navi is approaching this the right way and looking for a better means to fight VP. If they push high ground, they can smoke from behind, they can smoke from beneath them, they can smoke just straight from base and just annihilate Denny before he's able to get off a cooldown, if they can somehow stop the press attack from fronting. I think it's a wise choice. In this way, he can sit in the back and get 2 sheeps off, get 2 ultimates off, just dump ice vortexes and be highly annoying with all his skills.
Here we go. Virtus.pro getting aggressive. Nature's Guy is used on Sadoy as he's in the front line, ready to blink over the tree line and initiate this fight. Who's he going to find? BKB used. They get Havost, breaks the Lincoln, connects the lasso. Now the follow-up is there. Van Score tethers onto Havost, but out comes the tree and ulti. Yol off on the backside, doing some damage to the ultimate, takes a silence. They lose their tree and protector. Havost in the front lines going blow for blow with BZZ. Time lapse is back, finds the kill. kill on the Razor. Dragonite dies off to the side, and it's Na'Vi coming out way ahead. Triple kill for Havost. It's a 4-for-0 trade, and Na'Vi more than victorious. He'll be able to secure Roche, and now Virtus.pro in a little bit of trouble.
There's too many defensive capabilities for the Weaver right now. He has Manta, Lincolns, Time Lapse, Press the Attack, Force Staff, as well as Relocate. And they're almost always going to be able to get like at least, I'd say, 2 of those out of the 6 off on Havost. And VP's just been completely tunnel vision on Weaver the entire time, and Soroy was doing a fantastic job in the first 30 minutes of the game, but after that, his lassos has just been rendered completely ineffective. Forced to use the Force Staff to pop the Lincolns, and then after that, even if you pull somebody, you can't get them into a good position. So I'm not really sure what they can do about this. Just maybe look for someone else, like LC, as they were going on before. But he doesn't really have a Ghost Staff or anything to really help him survive LC's burst either.
Now things looking scary for Virtus.pro. The buyback's already been used on Dragonite. Razor has one, still holding it. They've lost the melee barracks. Range barracks may go down. They'll back up with a few hit points remaining. Now the buyback on Razor. Sadoy grabs Vanscore with the lasso. They'll find the kill on the Wisp, and Na'Vi again will cut their losses, let the Wisp fall, and look to slow siege and maybe just finish off this melee racks, as it is just a couple of hit points from death, though living armor will quickly change that. Now Havost coming in. He wants to grab it, and now he gets caught in the overgrowth. This could prove to be a mistake. Taking a lot of damage. They'll kill the Tramp Protector straight away. The Aghanim Death Ward doing a lot of damage bouncing through, but just not enough. Buyback on the Wisp now as he rejoins the party. G gets dueled by Funnick. They find the kill on the Dragonite. He's now in the grave for 120 seconds. No buyback available. Wisp already been used. They find the kill on the Witch Doctor, and this could be the final blow. Virtus.pro quickly running out of resources here. No buyback on either of the supports, and yeah, I think this is game related.
Havost is just massive on this Weaver. I've not seen a Weaver carry this hard.
Yeah, 11,000 gold up on him now. More than enough for buyback. 21, 4, and 12. Just absurd how much damage he's putting out as BZZ. BKB on. Does have the static link onto Funnick, but now he gets hexed up. Yeah, he's in trouble. They're doing anything they can to keep the base alive, but this will be Mega Creeps coming out. Sadoy grabs Dendi with the lasso. All the barracks have gone down. Dendi even survives the initial onslaught. BZZ ends up getting taken down. The buyback from the Bat Rider. That'll be a GG. Well played. Havost, welcome to the Pycat Club, says Vanscore.
Well, I think this game really showcases that Na'Vi supports are just straight up better than VPs. And in the early game, we saw Skywrath and Wisp just completely demolish G in the mid lane, and at the same time, what did the Witch Doctor really do, as well as the Living Armor? Living Armor was like nice and all, but they didn't zone out top. They let the Wisp and the Legion Commander just do whatever they want. The Witch Doctor was never there to stop the LC ganks, and I'm just kind of